Hello, everyone. Thank you for being back with me. Our last video was interrupted by YouTube saying that it was not part of their guidelines. Our title, Galactic and Energy Update title. So we changed it to Energy Update. Hopefully that should be good. Perhaps send love. It seems like, we'll just stay positive. They've never done that to me before. Okay, so we'll just continue. Yeah, you guys can hear me and see me good? Okay. All right. Yes, we'll let that be. So, yes, back to who I am. We're gonna have to begin it from the start from the beginning, as since it was interrupted. I am Aurora. I am the founder of Aura Hypnosis Healing, as well as Raw Reiki Angelic Alchemy Healing. We conduct retreats around the world internationally in how to certify you with these two beautiful heart-based, heart-centered, benevolent healing techniques. In case you want to check out more information about that, where you could also find directory for practitioners, you can find it on my website, risingphoenixaura.com. Thank you. Well, it's such an honor. It was such an honor to be here with you. I'm glad I'm back on live, and they did allow for me to come back live. So we'll just send love to them and make sure they don't interrupt this transmission for us. Today's energy transmission, it's a galactic and energy update for April. It's a very big month for us. April, we've been waiting for this month. So I will begin again from some of the beginnings we were speaking of. In March, we had updates from Kuan Yin, from the Raw Collective that I channel, and we channel with force fields of love light surrounding always, ensuring that these are communications connected from the third eye, mind to the heart, wisdom and the heart, always speaking through us. Now, going back to that, Kuan Yin talked about some of I'll let you watch that because I think that's what got me kicked off a minute ago. So watch Kuan Yin's channeling where she talks about this AI virus that's going on. I won't repeat it again. So then, yeah, watch her channeling. And then there's also other videos that I have on what is this AI virus. You can check those out. There's some of the most recent ones. Okay, so if you haven't had a chance to write your questions, please write them again. If you wrote them in the last one, you're going to have to rewrite them because they were deleted. So write question and then write the question after. We have Lily and Minnie here. Thank you for being here, assisting us with the questions. All right. Excited to be here with you all. This is a very big month. The minute we came into April 1st, I know you all felt that shift. March was a very rough month for us. Energetically, it was really beautiful. There was lots of energy. However, we could feel and sense that infringement, in the technologies through this AI virus, as well as through, the 5G that was rolling out and, was becoming stronger and really came online towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year. So March was a little bit hard because we were supposed to come into as a collective in a very strong, opening, a strong. It's a portal. If you all notice, every March there's some kind of information coming out, right? A couple years ago, it was the event, and everybody thought that they were gonna send in March. I forgot what year was that. I think it was 18, was it? And if you all notice, Dolores Cannon, who I channel as well, who is part of the Raw Benevolent Beam, she basically channeled to everyone and told them that no, you guys are not going to ascend all of you as a collective. It's not time. What are you thinking? You're making the earth imbalanced by thinking this manner. And one of the most beautiful movies that you can watch on that is Twinkle, what's it? A Wrinkle in Time. Is it A Wrinkle in Time? Yeah, A Wrinkle in Time. And where, it really reminds you of not forgetting one another, especially the moment where there's a father and he's been trapped in that darkness. Spoilers if you haven't watched it. And then the father just wants to save one child and not save the other, right? And then he decides, and he's decided, and then no, the daughter says, no, we're not going to leave my brother behind. and they don't, and they basically ascend from that, evolve from that and come back as a family. So watch that video. It's very amazing, or read the book. Yeah. I think it was written in the 1950s or 60s, which I was amazed at it, how advanced it was in this time. There's lots of messages in it for us to help one another as a collective. So yes, March, basically energy update, very strong energy update portal. We're all holding a portal. Those of us in our hearts reaching the high enough frequency, the Raw Collective is saying, again, they're just going to communicate to me telepathically, and then it goes through all my filters, and then we share, all the heart information. Yes. Jay says it's a good story. I think he's talking about, A Wrinkle in Time. It's phenomenal. Very beautiful. Okay. Now, so that's what we're doing in March. And that's why sometimes they'll try to give us negative polarized information like, okay, the world's gonna end. That was uh, that was negative polarized aliens, by the way, infringing on people who they can infringe upon for the event, giving them false information. Now, of course, it was like we always believe, everything is part of the plan. So there is negative polarized and positive polarized, and it's working in union. Now, though, as we explain, some of the negative polarized information is not organic, and it could be just off free will. People, negative aliens choosing to use their own free will to, you know, infringe upon things, right? But it taught us a lot, right? It taught us we were in a time then in the event where, again, we're speaking of March from energy, because that's how it's going to feel every March, every 3, because of the mind, body, and soul, because of the Holy Trinity, as they call it, but the Trinity, the universal trinity of the mother, father, divine father, and then divine child. This is an amplified time where earth reaches a point where it's going to be pivotal to grow pronouncedly. So then since you all here and you are aware of this, it's important that we start, energetically, perhaps preparing for this every year, sending love light to the situation, sending love light to the month of March. And like we always teach, because it's, to me, besides the law of love, of infinite love, free will is number one of the number one rules that I go by everything. So when we teach through our alchemy classes, the aura, the Ra, the Isis, we teach basically how to set up intense and force fields, and of what we want to either create for ourselves for the day or for the future. But we always state without overstepping boundaries and without harming anyone. Because if you state these 2 things, so as we are calling for your assistance, state these things. Anytime you try to put an intent to something, try to create something lovingly, and you don't want to pull from someone's energy, you want to make sure that it's a balance between the service to self and service to others, and that you're not pulling from, because we're powerful beings, we could pull from others. So if you state that without overstepping boundaries, without harming anyone, then you ensure that you don't overstep boundaries. Okay. So yes, so going back, the event was created by a negative collective of aliens that infringed upon communicating this to people. It made people feel like they were, kind of like they wanted saviors, get me out of here, every man for themselves. You haven't reached it. Why should I wait for you? I'm ready, get me out of here. So, okay. Now, let's see what else. So that's on that. They wanted to talk about March and how important it is. So going back to how important it is for you all to realize this, especially for March, because March really creates a beautiful, basically, foundation for us for the year. So then understanding, those of you who have found yourself here. So those of you who have found your way to here, then it is important for you to notice these things, because when you basically, how we always teach, you watch perhaps our Aurora hypnosis sessions, but anything, any type of healing, you always want to get to the root of it. So that's why a lot of times we bring the root, we bring the awareness, because when we bring the root and awareness to your consciousness and your understanding, then you could actually start working on it and actually start healing and transcending from it. Okay. Because up until then, we're kind of blind. We're a bit blind, trying to figure it out, and we can't quite put our finger on it. We're so close, but yet we have yet to, come into that exact realization. So that's why we come up always, we find that root and communicate it to you all. Okay. Let's see what else. Yeah. And even if we're closely reaching 7,000 subscribers, and we're going to keep rising this year. This year's going to be a really big one for us. The higher you see our numbers rise, the more that you're going to see basically people being in their hearts. Seeing the subscribers rise, that means those people have found themselves to us and are starting to activate their hearts and working from a collective of hearts. We're working with their own infinite, force fields of love, connecting to the collective of the hearts of Earth, and or the love frequency of this universe, the construct of this universe. Okay, very good. So let's see what else we have here they want to talk about, and then we're going to start the questions. Yeah, so let me see if there's anything else they wanted to talk about. March. Yeah, the Schumann resonance has been amazing, especially in the last week. And before I take questions, I really want to talk about this. There's a lot of negative polarization, even among, you would say spiritual healers, leaders that are supposed to be, communicating positive information. Instead, they're not, by not surrounding themselves with, say, love light of their own I am source energy, then the information they're getting can be infringed upon, because it's basically their frequency is not going to match their frequency. So if they don't surround themselves with love light, their frequency is going to be too low for them to try to heart discern. They're not going to be in their heart enough to heart discern. Is this just coming from a mind trying to trick me, or is this coming from a connection of a high frequency of love as well, combination with the wisdom and the mind? So then with that, there's talk about, 10 days of darkness, and everything's gonna crash and all these horrible things are gonna happen, and it's just adding on this fear. And even like people who normally wouldn't you know find this infringing upon them or allow for this kind of negative thought form, or if you want to know, that is fear based, going through and finding the things that are actually fear based, because it's part of the programming too. They labeled like surrounding yourself with your own shields of love light fear based. They labeled us talking about people having entities in them and implants in them being fear based. So that was part of the negative aliens putting that into the collective, and whatever speaker, whether it's through a clear channel, a trance channel, or even a person that doesn't even realize they're channeling, but they're speaking in a broader type of audience, putting it into the collective, and then whoever picks up on that information, they ensure to communicate it to the collective in whichever form. So that's just really important. We're protective over our energies and not, allowing not, believing absolutely everything that might come into our consciousness and our mind. We have to filter it all. Okay. Let's see what else. All right. Yes. Okay, so then 4 is going to be huge. 444. This whole month is going to be big for us. Big. So with the 3 days of darkness, we got some really good questions there. We'll answer them in a minute. I just wanted to conclude this before we move on. So yeah, very big month. The number 4 is a very powerful number. We know that it's connected to the angelic realms, the Elohim, the Seraphim, all the angelic realms, which are basically the first fractalizations of source. You can watch other 13th dimension, where I channeled from the 13th dimension, where they went through and how that was fractalized channeling. You can watch that later. Okay, so with that, with the number 4, it is, so basically it's the next step, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. So we created with 1. We partnered up in the month of 2 with relationships or energies or guides or angels that were communicating to us in the month of 2. In the 3, we came into our empowerment of the mind, body, and soul. 4, now we're actually playing out what we created in the 1, 2, and 3. So what are we doing here? So the 4 is connected to, the 4 sacred directions of the universe, and there's many beauties. You can look up what the number 4 represents. Yeah. So as we continue to grow with energetic number 4, basically things are going to start becoming and lifting and shedding and becoming lighter for us, especially if you're here again, you're working within these numbers. So we got the month of 4/4 coming up. Yeah, we have Kimber Fox 414. That's another number. Okay. And the year of the 4, right? So we have 4/4. 2020 adds up to the number 4. 2 plus 2. 0 doesn't count, right? Because it's 0. So we have 3 4s. We have 4, 4, and 4 when you add up the year. That adds up to 12. Okay. Number 12, what do we talk about from past information? You've heard this through different forms as well, perhaps, but the 12 elders, the 12 elders of creation, the 12 galactic constructs that manifested and created together from the 12 seraphim angelic forms. Okay. So a very powerful, and we know the number 12 backwards, reflecting to itself is 21, right? We know about 2012 and how big that was for us. So it's going to be a very powerful day for us tomorrow. Extremely powerful. It is important that we are, first of all, drinking lots of water, like we always talk about, and not eating meat and not eating any sugar. I can share with you that I recently had a session on a young adult, and when I put her in, basically, as this, children go through different transformations from, birth, and then as they go through every year, and every year they go through the shedding of, if the children have parents that are awakened, then the parents would be helping them. But overall, organically, they do go through, either they're going to add on negativity or they're going to de-shed this negativity. So when I was asking the angels to scan her body, they said that she had negative energy in her legs. And I said, how did she get this negative energy? And this is a child that has heightened abilities and basically, is working with energy and so on. So they said the way that she got the negative energy in her legs was through eating sugar. And they said, oh, it just happened, that negative energy, it just came in a couple days ago. And I said, well, does this person eat sugar? And they said, yeah, even though this child is spiritually awakened, they do eat sugar. And I said, and then they said, so then I said, well, since this child has been eating sugar all her life, this young adult, well, how has that been working with the negative energy in their legs? And they said, first of all, of course, it's blocking grounding, it's blocking her abilities. And they said every time she ate sugar, it was added to the legs, added to the legs. So basically all her legs were just pretty much dark energy. And then I asked to scan, and then they said, oh yeah, then they found dark energy in her face. And then they basically said again, I asked, what was it? And they said she ate sugar. And I said, well, was this young adult shielded? And they said, yes. And then they said, basically, even if you shield, it is because you're when you take intake, because basically we talked about sugar. It's AI, basically. It's negative AI you're eating. It tricks the mind to make it think like it's yummy, but it's not. It's AI making you think it's yummy. So when you take it, even if you're shielded by force fields of love light, you intake it, it goes in and it integrates into you in different parts of the body that it will target to try to stop you from building your energies. And you realize, why am I so dense? Why am I so unfocused? Why am I so exhausted? What's going on with me? All these different things that sugar can do for you, well, it leads to, illness and disease. And if you all can remember anything of this transmission, please remember the sugar information that they're giving us through the higher selves. And by the way, this young adult was somnambulistic, so when they went in, only the archangel spoke through her and her higher self. There was no ego mind in there. There was no human consciousness. They kind of went to the back, and they didn't remember when they woke up. So, and then I asked, and for those of you healers, if you don't ask, they won't give you the answer. So we teach through aura hypnosis about this. So I had asked, and at this point they had said, yeah, I had Michael working, think I had Uriel, I had many different angels working, Yeshua. And I had them do one last final scan, and they said that the young child was clear. And I said, well, just to make sure, can you check the spine, the DNA structure that is located in, see if this young adult has any negative aliens integrated into them. And then when they scanned, they said, yes, they do. So if you don't ask, they won't tell you. And it was a dark collective of aliens that was trying to oppress this child from us holding that love light, anchoring it strongly. So as parents, I think it's important that we stop. We start helping them eat healthier and not give them any sugar. And all this energy that came into this child happened within just a couple of days of eating sugar. Okay, and then what they showed me was basically they were trying to stop. Okay, so be cautious. Don't feed your children sugar. All right. And don't feed yourself sugar, because you're doing it to yourself. You're you're victimizing yourself by consuming it. Okay. All right. So let's see. Eat natural sugars, like we have those wonderful fruits, pears and bananas and pineapples, yum yum, mangoes, so many beautiful fruit that has the natural sugars to them. Okay, so here, let's go ahead and move on. Oh, before I move on, sorry, I got distracted. So going back to the 3 days before I start answer questions, the 3 days of darkness. So this month is really important. We ask for you all, please, at the 4 a.m. if you work a third night shift, that's why we said that. Like if you work at night and are during the day, or at 4:44 p.m. every day from now on, if you could please set your alarm for whatever of those times you'll be up. And if you can send love light to the coronavirus. Basically, as we explained, if you follow me through on Facebook, I often share information, just typed up information there. And then I also do share it in our community here under YouTube. In case you're not part of Facebook, same information, I share it in our community tab under our YouTube channel. Okay. So what we explained was that if you all could start, this is again one of the biggest things that we want you to remember, is that we are that powerful. And again, if we state without overstepping boundaries, without harming anyone, and if we envision this coronavirus AI virus, if we envision it with our imagination, it's just that simple. And every day on 444, we envision it disintegrating. Now, it depends on what element you would. So let's talk about some alchemy with that, right? So, what element do you correlate most? Do you align more with the wind? Do you love to fly? Then you would envision that wind coming onto that AI virus, and you could envision like like an image of a virus with like a circle and spikes coming out of it, or it looks like a back like a virus, and then the wind would basically brush off against it, brush, 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 swipe, swipe, swipe until it would it would just go completely neutralize it. It took completely transmute. Okay, if you would use phoenix fire or dragon fire or your own fire element, maybe volcano energies or any type of fire element, you would again envision the virus, and then you would see it going into flames and transmuting into love light. So again, but you set your intents. This is what I'm going to do. without overstepping boundaries, without harming anyone. I send this love light, this alchemy to this virus so that we as an earth can start, ascending from this. We can start shifting out of this. This is the month that we're going to do this. Okay. So the 3 days of darkness. So same thing. Well, let me finish explaining the other element. Earth. So another way that you can do earth is that you could envision basically um green energy coming out from, because the earth is green, the ray is green. So you would envision the earth itself and the energy coming out of earth from the trees, the flowers. And by the way, you can do this however you want, but I'm just giving you examples. And then you would focus on the AI, and then it would start basically disintegrating with that green energy of nature. Okay, and then what else are we missing? Water. Water, beautiful way to basically just direct the water and start cleansing it right off, disintegrating it, transmuting it to love light again. So you set those intents we talked about, and then you envision them. And if we all do this on 444, you're going to see a huge change. Huge. I cannot express enough to you how much Mother Earth needs it. When you tap into her energies and her Schumann resonance is rising and rising, is because she's trying to recalibrate and transmute that energy. So if you tap into her, though, you will sense her pain and how hard it is for her right now and unstable it is. It's painful. It's heartbreaking. So we, as her children or fractals of her, how could we not assist? Right? Okay. So the 3 days of darkness, it basically, first of all, let's stop all this fear. There's nothing scary about the 3 day darkness, 3 days of darkness. Absolutely nothing scary. It's in an energetic type of womb, cocoon type of energy where, the collective or individuals go into, let's say, a womb. Because we actually don't realize that a lot of us go into a womb constantly above. So when we go to sleep, we could go into an energetic womb. Sometimes when we pass away or we're done here, we would go to an energetic womb from above in the ether to recharge ourselves. Okay. And we keep recharging and recharging our energies in this womb. We also, at times on when we are as a human, our human body, and we've gone through certain stages, and perhaps we need like a rebirth of energy in this human body. We can go to a womb again in meditation, in times of sleep, through, times that you will step into the theta, perhaps hypnosis, or yeah, so things like this. And you would go in and you start basically recharging. This womb is powered and energetically powered by the love light frequency of this universe. Excuse me. So that would be the 13th dimensional frequencies. Okay. It is basically like, what I can explain to you so you can understand, it's like a mother and the infant child, and the infant child needs nursing, so it needs replenishment through the mother's sacred milk. So similar to that, you're in a womb, and it's the creation's sacred energy that is going into you and giving you rebirth, recharging you, cleansing you, recalibrating you, whatever is next for your next integrations, benevolent integrations, if it's time for that. Stages, a lot of people who have birthdays, it's huge. Times of birthdays are times where you're going to come into a strong shifting of frequencies. Times of birthdays when you're going to turn, say, repeated numbers, perhaps. Or there's also, the golden age, where they talk about, your um, say you were born on the 22nd and you're going to turn 22. That would be a time that you will receive a strong percentage of shifting within the soul, benevolently, with your higher self, your guides, your angels. Okay. Yeah, some of you who are turning perhaps 44 would experience beautiful transitions. That's of course if you've done your work, though. If you haven't listened, you still have perhaps entities in you that are holding you back. Like we always teach, we teach that you can heal your own entities. Some of them do need a hypnosis, like the young child I spoke about that was into the DNA. That's definitely harder. You do need someone in a heart to help you with that. Um, Yeah, but whatever you believe, though, if you believe you can do it, then you shall do it. It's all about belief, though. Okay, so let's see what else. So yeah, that's what those 3 days of darkness is. It's just basically the mind, body, and soul healing, and you saw that a lot in March, and right now it's going into April. So we saw April 1st was one of the 3 days of darkness. April 4th is going to be another, and April 13th is going to be another. So we got three when we're sharing these with you so that you can hold space in those 3 days. Well, April 1st already passed, but fourth and the 13th, very strong, strong, strong. Okay. Yes. Let's see what else. That's what the 3 days of darkness is. Okay, so I'm gonna take your questions. Sorry, there's a lot of information I wanted to share. We did start late, so we are gonna make sure it lasts an hour. So we have about 20 minutes left, maybe. Okay, here we go. Now, first question here is astral travel projection safe? If yes, what's the safest technique to astral project? Okay. Now let's see. Okay, so basically, we talked about it recently in what is astral travel, right? So what is astral travel? So we have so many people that make it seem like it's like something that's privileged or elite. That's not how it works. Yeah, astral travel is just you going into your imagination and you travel with your imagination. That's it. Your mind's eye, your imagination. That is that easy. When you are daydreaming and all of a sudden you're like spaced out, you're like this. And you're daydreaming, right? That is a time that you just astral traveled. We astral travel as easy within not even a whole second of a moment, and we just astral traveled and came back with a blink of an eye, and we're back. Okay. So what is the safest? The safest way is basically you set your intents like we teach when you wake up, because that way energetically, if you astral travel throughout the day, whether it's conscious or unconscious, you'll make sure that you are operating within the highest vibration of you. You set those intents. You have nothing to worry about. No fear needed. Just flow with it and allow for your soul to astral travel wherever it needs to go. If it's being called all of a sudden to say a beautiful spot. Let's just talk about Sedona. We have a retreat coming up in Sedona, right? 515. um, so as we know, there's vortexes there. Now in Sedona, there's basically inner earth connections that are connected to crystal informations, clusters, big ones that come up energetically, and they basically tunnel up in a energy, and then that's what people feel, those vortexes in Sedona. But it starts from the inner earth, and then it comes out, and then those peaks, those energies that are coming out, it's just that basically they're like focus points, beacons of energy that's coming out through them. Okay. Um, and then you don't have to, just shield when you wake up with your own I am source love light, and then before bed, especially before bed, because, well, especially both, but when you go to bed, they said that that's the deepest open you are in the delta brainwave. So you don't want to be going wide open there because they start little by little infringing on you there. Okay. And we have almost 300 videos worth of spiritual development, and because every single video is full of it, so you watch them right now. Some of you are not working, are at home, or working from home. Watch them. It's a good time to be take notes. A lot of you take notes. All the teachings are there for you. Not all, but you know what I mean. Like there's a lot of teachings there for you. Okay, so that's an easy, safe way to astral travel. And we do have the Isis Priestess course that began actually just 2 days ago, open enrollment. It begins April 19th. So if you're going to be part of that, join now because the next open enrollment won't be till October this year, 6 months from now. This is how we, and there we teach in depth, working with our 12 DNA strand, our 12 dimensions, working with alchemy symbol, sound symbol, you name it, um, and how to safely astral travel, right? Because you don't want to just do it for yourself. You want to take care of yourself because you love yourself, right? You self love. So you love your animal companions, you love your family. So do it for everyone and do it for yourself, even most importantly. Keeping your energy, force fields, clear and balance. They're so important. There's every day we should be helping cleansing our body, seeing what we need to cleanse and balance today. What is the message today? Higher self. Okay. All right. So let's see. Next question. How is Mother Gaia doing as of right now? It's a hard. If you tap into her, you'll know it'll bring you to tears. She's doing good, but we need more of us working in our hearts, sending love. Okay. She's hanging on there. But we got this. It's such a strong year that we can assist her. Like we said, this year will be the biggest growth that we've seen since Atlantis, but also since 2012. This is the year 2020. Okay. So by simple things like we already asked you to send love to her on the 13th hour every day, right? So you might have alarm set for that, which is the 13th hour, which is 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. Also 555, we're sending love to the children of the earth. So now we have this 444, which is going to be really big in this month of the 4 to transform her and help her and help all of us as conscious collective consciousness. Next question. How can we consciously enter the dream time as we are falling asleep? Well, it starts with intense and force fields. We teach basically, we added it to the priestess course this year, teaching how to lucid dream, how to dream interpretation, how to weave through your dreams. That's a long, almost 2-hour class or talking about that and other things. But yeah, begins with intentions, love light, light a candle, force fields of love light. There's a lot more to that. You would need, and attunements with sacred alchemy symbols and so on. Question: should we be wearing masks? Now, I can't answer that for you because that's your own, free will choice. I can only tell you what I would do. Is no, I would not do it personally because I think it takes for a person to a lot of fear vibration and a lot of like wanting to protect self, but not in a good way, how we teach in a positive way, in a way we're fearful. Like we actually believe that thought form in itself, thinking that we have to put a mask on it's a very low vibration that we would reach for oneself to put it on. Now again, I'm just speaking for myself, okay? And you know, you want to only attract what you want. So therefore you don't need it. You are source, love light. Basically, this AI is not of organic source. So therefore, if you surround yourself with source love light, basically you'll disintegrate it. If it tries to fly around, come near you, your I am source of light will disintegrate it. Can't even be in your frequency. So I would not lower my frequency to put on a mask because it's not needed. I mean, these AI viruses are everywhere. They're in our food, in our water, in the air. They're in in the shots. So it's already been there. The flu viruses. They don't talk about the flu and how many people it kills every year. I personally know a person that was a young mother, just from close acquaintance, that their child took a flu shot, and he was so contagious that she died from the flu without even, because he had the flu shot and she didn't, and she died from from him getting the flu shot, because that's how much of a virus he was walking around. But this was a person though that wasn't awake and didn't know. So yeah. Yeah, they're lying to us about statistics. We talked about this in all our recent past videos, so watch those. Okay, so when will this COVID-19 end? You will not see it past the month of 4. That's all I can say. And what I'm saying is, basically, we might be lied to still though after, but we're looking to eradicate it within the month of 4, and that's what we have all of you and beautiful souls out there who are constantly working on transmuting it. And remember our videos, we talked about how it's connected to the 5G. Watch those videos. All right. Let's see what else. Very soon. Like I said, the 13th will be a very important day for us. So reflect a lot and send a lot of transmutation of love light that day. And the 4. And perhaps on the 13th, you could either do 4/4, and then we could also do the 13th hour. Okay. Just set your alarms, please. That's why we're here. We're the ones that are awakened enough, to know this. And how could we? It's like seeing someone in quicksand and letting them go into it instead of reaching out a branch for them to come out of it. Yeah, we can't do that. So that's why we're here. You all are the ones that are meant to be here and assisting as this collective in love. Okay. Honestly, we're seeing it completely, basically eradicated within a couple weeks. Let's say that, and then just basically clearing the last couple weeks of the month of 4. All right, that's all I can say on that. Let's move on. Okay. So, can we aid in a group guided meditation to clear some darkness? Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. We talked about at the beginning of the video. We're all going to do this as a group collective in our homes or wherever we're at, even if we're at work or in our cars. All we have to do is just for that moment envision and help together. It doesn't matter where we're at, anywhere in our 4/4 time. You could be at an Eastern time, Mountain time, in Australia, in the UK. It doesn't matter. You connect to your 4/4 time, it will connect us all like a beautiful like a crystal grid, like a lighting up together in that 4/4 time. And that's our group. That's our group healing, group meditation. What's the fastest way to clear our karma emotions density? We're gonna do about 8 more minutes, guys. So first of all, realizing that there is karma, because karma basically keeps balance to this universe. You imagine if if there was no karma, as it's so violent in this simulation of the Earth matrix. Can you imagine if there was no karma? There'd be people killing people left and right, harming, there would be no balance of anything. This would be complete chaos and destruction. So when there's any type of creation, there must always be a balance and a construct of some kind of organic construct. So that's where we talk about the 13 laws of the universe. And you can find that information under my website, under that tab in my website. Okay. So realizing, yes, everything has a reaction, and action has a reaction. Therefore, understanding and owning up to that, and then realizing after you realize that there's no fear is needed. So in times, say you did things when you were unawakened, you were still, trying to grow and shift out the density that you were programmed into or born into. Um, then you would, don't be hard on yourself. It's just a density that you accepted, that you went into. Now you're aware of it. So what can we do? So think of ways that are very easy to basically give back in any way. Give back to animals, give back to elderly. You can give back with just sending love. It's just that simple. You can, sit there every day and you're like, oh, for every day for 10 minutes, I'm gonna sit here and I'm just gonna send love to myself. Okay, so you're gonna send love to yourself, the one that might have created negative karma, and I'm gonna help her, the me in the past there, help her get through that so that I get to the me in the me now, right? Going through that karma. And I'm going to believe. And I'm going to believe in oneself. I'm going to believe in my higher self, me, who is me. I'm going to believe in, my benevolent guides and angels. And I'm going to stop, being mean to myself. And I'm going to self love and believe. And just like that, you could start helping the old karma alchemically start helping it transform, and then using other elements that we talked about, that we talk about too. You could also send not just love light. Okay, so then recognizing those karmic energies that need to be healed, and then balancing them, and then ensuring that going on forward, and now that you are within a heart space and or are awakening or are going through the process of becoming stronger and stronger in your heart once you've awakened, because that's the ultimate goal. Yes, we have many awakened. There's a difference between people who are awakened, the Ra says. So there's the awakened, and these people would be awakened like they are like, they know that they've been controlled by negative aliens. They know that there's been infringements on them. All these things that we go through when we start awakening, right? We start researching and we find out, oh my God, there's like negative aliens and they've kept us, like in a like the Matrix movie, or there's also other movies like Divergent, Hunger Games, uh, The Maze, and it's like whoa, and then you go through that. So now you're awakening. So it's a process of awakening, but it's not you're not officially say fully awakened until you've now opened and activated your heart and now are working with your infinite love life source force field. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next question. Has the Cabal really been taken off the planet? You guys tell me. Why was I flagged off my first video? Well, what I can say is though we're the majority though, so that's okay. We're the majority. Every day we are helping people remove those chains that are around them, whether it's self or, collective, people in our neighborhood, or every day we're being that example to help them. Okay. Okay, so how are we doing in sending love light out to disintegrate or lessen impact on the virus? We are doing very good in this moment in time. This video is very important for us because Basically, Julia, I already talked about the 3 days of darkness earlier. So basically, with the yeah, amazing. We are, if not right on track, but slightly a little behind, but not too much at all. So let's continue. Let's stand strong. No fear, no fear, no fear. We are beautiful and powerful and invincible, and we have taken our sovereignty back. That we have. Okay. Let's continue. We talked about that earlier too in the video. How to continue to help healing this virus. Or how to help people build their immune systems so that viruses of any kind won't affect them because of the 5G. That's the goal. So teaching people, even it's like little kids, you run into the park and they're talking to you and you feel that they might be open. Tell them about putting themselves in a bubble of love light. You can, with the person's with the parents' permission there, you can ask whatever comes to mind, whatever, in whichever ways. And because basically the force fields of love light connect to the immune system and it connects directly to the auric field. So once you get through the auric field, then you go into the immune system. So the goal is to put love light through the auric field of high vibrational energy, so that then that way it won't go through the auric field and then it won't go into the child, affecting the child or the elder or whomever that is sensitive with these heightened energies that are trying to awaken this year, so that it won't basically enter as easily. It can filter it out. Okay. A question: are there UFOs coming closer to the Earth's magnetic field? Sometimes I see portions of rainbows in the sky or really bright star-like things. Yes, well, they're there. They're there regardless. If you really looked up there with your imagination, you would see all of them. For the majority of them, they are positive, but they just have basically technology around them. So the positive UFOs would have energy force fields around them to make them invisible from those that are negative UFOs that mean harm. So yeah, they would have either technology or energetic force fields around them. Then the negative ones would have technology that would make them invisible, so that with our physical eyes we can't see them, but we can sense them, right? You mentioned that, like, yeah, you can sense them up there. There is some particular stars in the sky. If you look at them, they do not look like stars, they do not feel like stars are a consciousness, organic consciousness. So if you look at something out there and it's really bright, not in a organic way, then most likely it's a very big UFO or some kind of I don't know, something something up there. And then heart discerning is this: am I feeling love from this? If I'm not feeling love, then I probably want to shield from whatever that is. Um, yeah. Okay. So it's the 51 percentile. Watch that video. It's our most recent one, Heart Discernment, how to work with 51 percentile. Very good video to work in our hearts. Two others include past lives making a whole total. That's a very good question. Let's see what they say. Well, energetically speaking, the 51 percentile would be the you here. But first, the you here has to go through those processes. If they were a bad guy, so say you were with, I've seen through past lives, let me find an example. There was a man that killed a woman, okay, and then he had to come back to the woman as a child because he needed to pay back that karma. So negative things that you might have done like that because, not at some point in time, we might have accepted a positive polarized role, or we just got lost in the matrix. And within our own free will choice, we created that karma. And yeah, so then you would see though that, once the mother and the child has gone through that process and now they've learned to, love one another, accept one another, grow with one another, then basically they balances out that karma, balances out and raises the past life densities that will hold you from the 51 percentile, because everything within us is healing, a healing, right? So then past lives are very important for us because it makes past lives make us into who we are. We are who we are because we went through that lesson, that life, and then that other lesson in that life. And we know this life to not go that way because we already learned those lessons. So they're built in within our consciousness and our toroidal sphere, our database, our organic database that basically holds our, you know, who we are and who we've been. Okay. All right, here we go. 2 more questions and we'll be calling it an end, guys. For today, how about a healthier ones like coconut sugar? It depends if it's truly organic, like if you did it yourself and it's not processed. What they told me is that cane sugar can be just as bad as sugar because it's processed. So once that cane sugar goes through the factory and it's processed, they add a specific consistencies that sold us the sugar, and then it sure could possibly not be as bad, but it's still bad. So unless you actually, harvested it yourself and, um like coconut, sugar, you would go through that process of, filtering out the sugar out of it, then yeah, that would be, because it's, remember, it's organic. So any kind of sugar from any fruit, organic, grown from earth, would be a positive sweetener. Is there an alien race with geisha? I don't know how to say that word. Geisha, like clothes. I'm seeing like now I don't know if this matches, but like with long sleeves. Yes, we love style. So long sleeves are pretty cool. Yeah, I would say so, but that's too much of a open question. Okay. Let's keep going. Are we getting to a place to be able to get more information on negative ET races? Last video, for the first time, negative elven race was mentioned, and I am quite curious. We are. I can only share when we are allowed, or, when it is time. Basically, we have to, um, we can only share what is okay within the specific moment and timeline that is occurring. So yes, you're seeing that now. Hmm. Has a 5G been disarmed so it won't harm us? No, it hasn't. But we're growing to, basically, those of us who are aware of it and know it, we're going to become, say, immune to it. Some of us could have had like a positive implant placed to us, but again, I would only recommend this, you communicating with your higher self, your galactic benevolent soul family. So that is a form that can bounce off 5G infringement. Or overall, maybe you're working stronger with your force fields of love light and it's filtering that out. Okay, you're being cautious of your technology intakes throughout the day. Ugh, I can't ask that question. I can't answer that question that just came in. I can only say that it's talking about satellites and 5G that is negative polarized. Okay. That's all I can say on that. So yeah, those are ways that we're building. But again, going back to okay, that's just us. But what about the children who are with unawakened parents and don't know how to set up intents of love light? Don't know how to use the force fields around them. Some of these children are though way ahead of the game, even if they might have a parent that's not awakened. They're working with the force fields of them. Um, so that's why it's important we continue to send love light too on the 555 for the children. Okay, well, that is all, loves. Thank you for being here. It has been a joy to be here with you. Please share this video. If you want to support this video, you can support it through Patreon for the $4.44 tier or any of the tiers there. I'd love to see you all at retreats where we go into depth, even in depth that we are not able to do live. Love you all. Yes, Christine, holiday, no fear. Sending love light, absolutely no fear, just love. That's why we're here. We have to remember that's why we're here. Transform, transmute, cleanse, balance, and fear. And let's be those anchors of beacons, lighthouses that we are for humanity and the collective. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell button at the right so you know when I'm coming live. Love you all, honor you, thank you, and respect you. Thank you. I'll see you all soon.